I'm Neil from Board Game Happy, and today I will be doing a review of Nightmare Productions. This is a Reiner Knizia design game published by Trick or Treat Studios. This is a re-theme of a previously released Reiner Knizia game, but this theme for me is fantastic. It's a horror theme. It's not modern horror, it's the late 70s, early 80s horror. Absolutely brilliant. 2 to 5 player, 30 to 45 minutes, enclosed economy bidding game. And it's really good. I will show you how it plays and then come back up and I'll give you my final thoughts. This is the main board where all of the activity will happen. I'm going to try and briefly go through everything that you need to do to set up this game. There's quite a bit, so excuse me for going very, very fast. Okay, so we have 4 legendary creatures. One will come out every year. So what you would do is shuffle these and place them on their spots here. Then over here, we have an absolute pile of different items that are going to come out during the game. I'll explain what they are a bit later, but all you need to know is you're going to put the equivalent amount in the numbers here face up, and then the number of players, you're going to put the amount here face down. Okay, you're then going to place all of these numbers around the outside. Now, this does take a while. It's a bit of a pain. These are the points awarded for your movies. You're also going to place all of your awards that will be in the relevant spots. It's a bit of a pain that there's no pictures of them underneath and you have to refer to the rule book if you can't quite remember. But essentially, you've got the best movie ones up the top. You've got the first movies of each type here on the left. And then at the end of game, best movies on the right. You also have the worst movie award and the award for best casting. In a free player game, each player will be handed $12 million. They will be handed 1 screen each, which has got a handy description of how the game plays and all the money and how it all works. The player will also be given 3 movies that match their screen. So you can see there, Trick or Treat Studios. The player who last saw a horror movie will be awarded with the first player token. You will also place to the side of the board the extra screenplays that are awarded to people when they complete movies. Player will bid for the very first box that's up here, which is a legendary creature. The person who bids the most money will gain that creature and place it on one of their screenplays. I'll show you how that works in a minute. And then the money that you've successfully bid, will be spread amongst the losers. Any excess will be placed in the space for the next round. We will then go on to bid for these next 2 ones. So the person who wins this will get 3 different things to place on their screenplays, and then the next person will get 2 to place on the next screenplays. When you get to the HorrorCon spaces, the player who currently has the most monsters and cameos on their screenplays will take a good look at these, pick one, that one for example, keep it, and then pass the other 2 to the other players. It will go first of all to the next player who has the most monsters and cameos. Ties are broken by the first player token. You will carry on in the normal bidding process. When you win a bid, you become the new start player. So if this player over here won the previous bid over here, then they would be the start player. They would then start the bidding off for this process. You will carry on doing that, bidding and paying your money, the losers gaining the winner's money, until you get to the end of the year and you've done your last HorrorCon. At the end of the year, you will work out which movie has won the best movie that year and award them this 5 points. You will then set up the game again, turning over a new legendary monster and filling up all of these spaces according to as I explained earlier on. And you'll carry on and you will do that for 4 rounds, awarding a best movie every year. So as you can see, there's 3 years. And then at the end of the 4th year, the main awards season will start, and I will explain that as well. I haven't yet explained what these awards are for. Basically, when you complete one of your movies, there are 3 different types of categories in this film. Let's just call them, for argument's sake, red, green and purple. When you complete a purple movie, if you're the first person to complete a purple movie, you receive this bonus 5 points. Same with the green and the red. At the end of the 4th year, you will award points to the player who made the best red movie, this 10 points. The same for the person who played the best green movie and the best purple movie. They will receive those. The person who made the worst movie overall will receive this bonus 10 points. And finally, the player who played the most stars on their creatures and legendary creatures will receive the best casting award. So that's the final point. I'll quickly show you how you complete a movie, how you score points for the movie. Okay, so this is an example of a completed movie. It's a really good completed movie, actually. So you can see here, this location is for monsters, described by this slashing thing here. Then you've got directors, you've got props, locations, music directors. You'll notice this one here. This is for cameos. Now, at this point here, this movie would automatically be completed. You don't have to do a cameo to finish a movie. It really does help if you can. But as soon as you do all of these except the cameo, the movie is done. If that wasn't there, but I did have this one, that's not yet completed. That's now completed. Also, I wanted to show you what these contracts do. Now, these contracts, it's got a little C there, they can go in any of the spaces except for the cameos. So they are basically just like a wild resource, so really handy. But if this movie was completed now, it would give me 4, 8, 10, 11, 14, 17, 18 points. I then look on the main board, I grab the 18 point token and I place that there. So that's now my completed movie worth 18. If somebody else completed a movie later on also worth 18, and as there's only one 18 location, they wouldn't be able to take that. They would have to take the next equivalent token further down. So if there was a 17, they would take a 17. But it could go as low as 13 or lower. So that's why it's really important to get good movies finished as early as possible in this game. This might be an example of my final scoring at the end of the game. I would add up the points for each of my movies. I would also then add to that the amount of money I have left, so that's worth another 3. I then would then add all of the awards that I was given. Best movie award, best movie award, best movie overall in this category, completing a movie, first of all, in this category, and then, of course, worst movie for this one here. So you would add all of those points together. The person with the most points wins. In the event of a tie, if two people have the same amount of points, look to the player to see who has the highest points token, and that player would be the winner. So I hope that helps you understand the final scoring.
So I hope that gave you a really good idea as to how Nightmare Production plays and the flow of the game, and a good look at the lovely artwork and the lovely components. Maybe a bit too lovely, I'll discuss that in a minute. There's a few issues there. So I'll go through what I like about the game, I'll give you an idea of what I don't like about the game or some of the negatives, and then I'll give you my overall score. So, it's a closed economy bidding game. Fantastic. There's no runaway leader problem. All the money that gets bid goes into a pot, gets spread amongst the losers. That means the losers get richer and the winners get poorer, so you can always catch up. And sometimes it's worth pushing someone, just push and push and push, see how much they will pay for something. You know they desperately need it, just so that you know you can get more of their money later on. Fantastic, absolutely love the closed economy. I wish more games used it. I love the theme, and that is combined with the artwork from Doug Nation. I really love the cheesy horror theme. It really goes with the award season that you get to do every round, and then at the end of the game. So the artwork and the theme is absolutely fantastic. The fact that you can win worst movie is absolutely hilarious. The fact that you can win the best movie 3 years or 3 seasons in a row, 3 years in a row is absolutely fantastic. I love everything about that part of the game. So some negatives. For a game called Nightmare Productions, there are a couple of production nightmares, ironically. The shuffling of all of those very, very, very thick tiles, could have been a lot thinner, by the way. The shuffling of those thick tiles and placing them all face down takes time and is unnecessary, when with just a drawstring bag, you could have just chucked them all in, shuffled them up a bit, and then pulled them out. I think that would have made for a much more smoother and better experience. So that's one of the things I don't like about the game. The setup time is a little bit long for this type of game. It does take a little while to get everything all ready. This leads me on to the next problem, which is putting all the awards out in their exact location spaces. You can just quickly refer to the rule book, but if there'd been a little picture of what the award looks like on the board as you're putting them on there, would have just resolved that issue. The game's a bit pricey. For what you're getting here, it's quite expensive, which I think might put a few people off, and it's a real shame because there's a very, very good game here, but you're paying quite a lot of money, and I think had the cardboard been a bit smaller, the awards been a bit smaller, maybe shrunk the game down just a little bit, you could have got this at a much lower price. So that's a bit of a negative for me. And lastly, there's no director's names, it just says director or music. They could have gone funny with that. Steven Scareberg as a director is just one example. There are obviously thousands others. So that would have really helped with that part of the game. It's not a massive thing, but just a little thing just to make you aware of. So taking all of that into consideration, I still give this game an 80%. Had some of those issues been resolved, especially the drawstring bag and the awards shown on the main board, this would have been close to 90%, but as it is, 80% for me is how I rate this game. I really like it. I really recommend it. I want to get as many people to play it as possible, so I will always take it to a games meetup, etc. So it is a very good game, and it's one that everyone should play because of that enclosed economy bidding system. I really like it. I hope you get a chance to play it if you see it. If you do, please let me know what you think of it, and I'd like to say thank you very much for watching my video. All right, cheers.